Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I have two competitors here. These cars compete directly with each other. If you're cross shopping these two cars, which I think most people do, this video is going to be sort of your ultimate buyer's guide. We're going to talk about the performance. We're going to talk about obviously the cargo room, features, options. We're going to go over as much as I can. Hopefully by the end of the video, you should be able to make sort of an informed decision. So if you're on the fence between the X3 M40i or the Audi SQ5, hopefully you'll be able to decide which side of the fence you're gonna jump on. All right, this is gonna be an unbiased review because these cars aren't press vehicles. These cars actually own in my garage. So I love both of these cars for different reasons, but I can see why people would cross shop both. All right, let's get started. All right, let's start the lineup here. This is a 2023 BMW X3 M40i. All right. Now this is the latest generation before. I think they just switched over to the new one in 2025. However, that car isn't out yet, and obviously it's 2024. So let's go over the front. Let's go over the features of the front end. You can get what this already has is shadow line grills, which means is all the features that were originally silver are blacked out. Okay. You can get a driver assistance package, which means you see here this radar sensor. The car can drive itself hands-free and stop and go traffic. I mean, 100% hands-free as long as the speed is below, I think, 40, 50 miles an hour, and the car will handle the acceleration, braking, and the steering. Okay. These are all optional features. Standard, you're going to get the LED headlights. These are full LED headlights with automatic high beam. They swivel and auto level. And then you also have your daytime light, which is these lights here, which is BMW's been changing them more. It's like every year they've been changing them. It used to be halos. Now they're sort of half halos. But that's what you get here. Okay. When you come over to the Audi, this is a 2021. Now, before you say anything, wait a minute, you're comparing 2023 to 2021. A 2023 SQ5 is unchanged from the 2021. This is the first year of the update. For 2022 on the X3 is the first year update. So before we get in the comment section and you guys start sending me stuff, let's get that out of the way now. All right. So on this has the optional, it's called black optic package, which means the silver pieces on the grille, which is normally, this whole thing is usually silver, is all blacked out. So BMW calls it shadow line, Audi calls it black optic. Okay. I think there's one more additional package you can add on to where you get the black rings into there too and a black logo, but this doesn't have it. Down here, you'll see this does have, with this package, this is the Prestige on the Audi. So unlike BMW, where you pick your body shape and you go into, all right, I want driver assistance, I want parking assistance package, I want, heated seats, blah, blah, blah. It's, when you go to the Audi, it's simpler. You have obviously the SQ5, which is the motor, kind of like the X3 M40, but you have 3 different levels of packages, which means you get a premium, premium plus, and prestige being the highest. And each package kind of bundles and adds on. So by this being a prestige package, you're already getting pretty much everything standard. And right now, since I'm comparing the radar with the driver assistance package, these sensors aren't lights. They are actually part of the driver assistance package. And they work in conjunction with their radar sensors, and they read the lines. This car can do also traffic jam assist below 40 miles an hour. It will handle the steering, braking, and acceleration. There's one caveat to that in comparison to the BMW. BMW, you can be hands-free. This, while it handles the steering, you still have to, it still wants your hands on the wheel. So your hand has to be detected on the wheel. Only difference, but it does everything similar. I would say BMW is slightly better in that aspect. All right, here you have standard LED headlights, and with this being a Prestige, you're gonna have the dynamic turn signal. And also at nighttime when you unlock the car, it does a little animation with the tail lights. That's part of the Prestige package. But everything else, any SQ5 or any Q5 you're gonna see is gonna have the LED headlights. All right, automatic high beam. The headlights don't swivel, however. They don't swivel like the, but they do have the auto level, okay? All right, coming out back, you get the Audi SQ5 badge, all right? With the SQ5, you get the quad tip exhaust. Now, these aren't the actual exhaust, but since this is a facelift SQ5, where before it was all plastic, this one is nice because they give it somewhat of exhaust, but the true exhaust is underneath. Okay, so you want to come get closer underneath the car, show what the exhaust is. And then bend the camera up so you make sure you see it through the lens, right there. See it? Okay. So you have two of these both sides. Now with this, you can get true exhaust at the back. Audi calls it the sport exhaust tips, which means instead of it flowing out through here, it actually gives you metal pipes and it comes out here. Reason why Audi did it for design, from what I've heard, it's in case the car gets impacted in the back, it's easier, cheaper to replace this. Then they have to replace the whole exhaust system, which could damage the turbos and et cetera, et cetera. I think it's just, personally, I think it's for cost, but you know, I think they make the buyer pay for it. But either way, I think there's slight sound differences between the two. I think maybe the true exhaust might be a little louder, so it's not directing sound down to the ground. I think it's just coming out through the back of the car. Obviously, both cars are a different design. Let's say you have more of a slope rear glass. I feel like in the Q5, maybe about, no, I feel like it's more sloped in here. They both have the feature. Let me get my key to show you. Stay right there, Kason. So by having the key fob in my pocket, all I had to do is we'll kick the open, and then we have our hatch, have a cargo cover, and this is where I think the X3 shines, because the cargo room, the X3, you'll see once I get over that side, you're gonna see like, well, it doesn't have as much room. And we're gonna test that out. We're gonna put suitcases in here. We're gonna test everything out. If you wanna show down here, can you see in the camera? This is, you have a spare tire, space saver spare. So it's deflated right now. I got a subwoofer here for the Bang & Olufsen sound system, jack, but then you can inflate this tire once you throw it on, and there's an air pump right there. All right. This has a feature, obviously I can lower the seats through here and drop them down if I need to. And let's go ahead and stay right there. And they click into place. They don't go completely flat, but that's pretty much as far as it goes. Also, there's a button here. Let's swing around. I can lower, say for example, I need to lower something heavy. This has an optional, and this is optional on any of the SQ5s. It's called the S Sport package, which gives you the sport differential, and then you can also give you air suspension. With that, the air suspension, you can lower the right height. So right there. Shut the door. Doors will be closed. So here, pressing and holding this drops the air. So if you want to go back out so you can see. And see how the car lowers, and it's now coming down pretty my knees almost, to where now I don't have to load as much heavy into the back of the car. It gives me an easier low floor. And let's go back up. You press it once, goes back up. All right. I have two ways I can close the hatch. I can press here, close it. Either one of these buttons. This is going to close and lock it at the same time. Lock the whole car. So like this is the last thing I need to grab out of the car. I can press this, and the car will lock itself when the hatch shuts. Or I can just want to close it on its own, and also I can do the kick to open, for example. From a kick, step back, and then it'll close. Okay. This does also have an exposed rear wiper, And then you come out to the camera, rear view camera. There is a nozzle here where it will spray washer fluid on the lens. So if you're backing up at, driving at nighttime, or I'm saying in the rain, you get the camera was dirty, you can use the rear wiper, and depending on the settings, it may or may not spray and wash off the camera lens. I'm not sure what determines it or not, but that is a feature there, okay? Now let's go to the X3. Okay, X3 M40 is a little more straight down the back. It has a shorter glass, but the taillights a little, they're more pronounced. You see how they're tinted more than the Audis, if you see the differences. And then it seems to be more with the it comes with the M Sport package, and I think with that, it looks more aggressive. And the same thing with the Audi. If you get a regular Audi Q5, you can get the S line package, what looks very similar to this. Only difference is the exhaust tips are different. And the same with the X3 M40. If you get an X330i, you get the M Sport package, looks just like this. Just the engine's different. Okay. You have true exhaust. This has the M Sport exhaust on these. They come standard on the M40, at least the US versions. All right. Also, the X3 has the same feature. Kick the open tailgate. And right away, if you come in, you can see quite a bit more space. Let's put the stroller in the Q5, the SQ5, to see for reference how much space there is. Actually, before I do that, let's take this out. I'll show you a feature that's unique with the X3s. So let's say I want to utilize my cargo cover. Right now there's no cargo cover here. If you don't want to use it, or you want to use it, you can store it right here, which is, I think, a neat way that they have it. So, and all it takes to pop it back in, that, and you have a cargo cover. And if I don't want it, all I do is just press a button here, take it out. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, you showed the spare tire on the SQ5, but you didn't show the spare tire on the X3. This X3 doesn't have a spare tire, but when you order the car, if you're ordering brand new, you do have the option of saying, I want a spare tire, in which you forfeit the storage compartment. And also you'll have this section here will be raised a little bit to accommodate the spare tire. So something to think about, if you want the flat floor, you're gonna have to say no spare tire if you prefer to have this area, but normally this is for spare tire. Over here, there's got little pockets here. Seats fold down. I don't see a way you can pop them down like the Audi, other than reaching up here, and then you can fold them down. 60-40 split, 60-40. It goes a little flatter down on than the Audi, and I think there is a 20 split right there in the middle for pass-through if you need it. All right, so just like the Audi, you have obviously multiple ways of closing it. You can just close the hatch here, or you can do the lock, which means it'll close itself and then lock at the same time. And also you have the same option as you can kick to open or kick to close. Okay. Now if I want to open both of these, the rear seats, when they're folded down, is that the Audi locks in place. Like I can't raise it up, so I have to actually hit a button to release down here on the side to release the seat. So it's not like I could reach across. I got to hit the lever to release to unlock it back. So let's compare both sides. Let's go back over here again. And I'm going to go ahead and take the stroller. just for comparison purposes, and I'm just going to throw it in back here and see. It actually looks pretty close, but let's see what we got here. Yeah, I might have to do a suitcase test to really see the true dimensions. I mean, I could put it on the screen, both cars, what their dimensions are, but it's hard to actually see in real life what that means. Because what the numbers don't tell you is actual shapes and actually what can close inside of here. All right. Coming up here in the interior, this is SQ5. It comes in, and I apologize for the little scratches here, but it comes in a few different, obviously, I think these come in more like a couple of different trims. I'm not sure the other options, but it's got the carbon fiber inlays. So you got some Alcantara insert, and you have leather here. Now this one has the optional Napa leather, which is a softer leather. So one of your premium leathers in here, if you want to see it, it's got a diamond stitched seats, and these, it's your pretty much your leather upgrade. When we get to BMW, I'll talk about those seats later. When you come over here, you can see you got the carbon inlays across the dash. Got the leather wrapped steering wheel as well. The steering wheel is also heated. I think this heated steering wheel comes on at least the Premium Plus and Prestige trims. Pretty much when you look at the inside, you're going to see the same interior treatments as you would find on the Premium Plus and the Prestige. The only difference you're going to find that you cannot get on the Premium Plus is the head-up display and also the park assist package. Everything else you can pretty much option up on the Premium Plus by getting, let's say for example, if I wanted the navigation package, you can option that. Now, if I wanted ventilated seats in this one doesn't have the optional ventilated seats. You cannot get the diamond stitch seats with the ventilated. So it's a different seat setup. It's look more traditional and it also has perforations still allows you to let ventilation come through. If you go over here, we can see the paddle shifters down here. And I'll give you a little more detail here shortly. Seating position. Let's see. So everything's pretty simple across the dashboard. I mean, you get your climate controls, you can adjust. What's nice when you go up to crank it up, the ambient lighting turns red. When you go down the temperature, it turns blue temporarily to show you that, I guess the whole car knows what you're doing. You get your drive mode selects here. You have your, if you look here, this has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. I think this is sound system is 750 watts. Pretty decent in something like this. No complaints. Auto dimming rearview mirror. Now the difference is you're gonna find is there isn't any MI or knob down here. There's no pad. Everything is going to be done. It's wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, things like that. But everything's all touchscreen. Everything's all touchscreen. You have your home. This is your home screen. You can change these tiles how you want. You have, I could probably go more in depth at the full review, but you can see, I'm gonna show you the navigation setup. Obviously we can zoom out. Now, I would say Audi was the leader in this stuff. They had, with the digital, what they call this Audi's virtual cockpit. You can change up all the systems. You can look here, like I said, this being Prestige trim, it has another option where it can read traffic signs It can tell you basically, and I haven't seen this yet, but I know it has the ability to tell you, let's say, how fast to be driving to make sure you hit all green lights. So it's supposed to be able to read that. I haven't been in an area where it has done that. We can scroll over here to navigation. I can have navigation here in the screen, or I can go to full screen navigation right there. Have that right there for me. And let's say on the AC, I can have all these little touch sensors. So I could, switch over to max, 3-zone, or I can just set the rear separately if I have a child back here. If I want to shut the screen off, I can do that, kind of black everything up. For example, for nighttime driving. Got hill descent control, park sensors on and off, self park right there, traction control, and auto start stop is available. If you come in here, you have your wireless phone charger, what they call an Audi phone box. If you're trying to buy one of these used, a 2022, maybe 2023 model may or may not have this. There was a part shortage, so just be careful on this. Same thing goes with the X3. This one, by being a Prestige, you have the heated and cooled cup holder. Only the right cup holder does the heated and cooled. Does a decent job. And inside here, you have a USB-C, one of them. And then you have a USB-A port here. You can do wired CarPlay if you like. Glove box, damp glove box, also felt lined. And up top we have one touch open for the sunshade and also the sunroof. It's a large panoramic sunroof. I will say that the Audi has a larger sunroof than the X3, which you'll see here shortly when I do the same thing. So one touch open. They also both have the tilt vent function as well. But look how large that is. I think I have another section where I can go. This is like highway speeds to minimize any buffeting that could happen when you're traveling the highway. Now, if I go more, I can open this full view, and it's pretty large sunroof right there. From up top, you can see the sunroof opening. Got the windscreen right there to help with the wind. And I could close both of these, one touch. Boom, boom, and I know they'll both close. All right. All right, so I'm in the back seat. Let me get further back so I can see. I want you to see me in the back. I'm gonna get a better view in a minute. You know what I'm talking about? Yep, all the way back, all the way back. Can you see my leg and see me? All right, so I'm 5'8". This is my seat position. I'm sitting back here. I have a decent amount of room in here. I got the same pointed touches. You can come around if you need. I got the carbon fiber inlay. I got the Alcantara, same thing. So they don't cheat you out here on this side. You notice there isn't much section, anything, same with the front seat. There isn't anything really to hold a large cup. So if you need to put a cup, if you have one of those, that travels with a big tumbler, you may find yourself with limited space to hold it. This seat is, like I said, I feel like I have a good amount of room in here, but I just feel like it's tight. Now I have the option to recline the seat, and then I can also scoot the seat back. And this is as far as it goes back. So this is, start over, pause it, unpause it, and pause it. So here I am sitting here, and I feel like, I'm pretty tight. I'm 5'8". This is my seat position. I always feel like I'm a little tight in these Q5s, SQ5s. I got the same, obviously, the treatment in here, the carbon fiber. I got the kind of the suede setup, and I have the leather here. I noticed there isn't any sections where you can put a cup holder. So if you're one of those who travels with a tumbler or anything larger than a 20 ounce, a 32 ounce, or anything larger than that, you're gonna have trouble finding a place for it. The outboard seats are heated. Come standard on the Prestige trims. And I feel like like I said, you got room, but it's tight. Now I can recline the seat, and I think I also can slide the seat back. So if I feel like it's a lot of, oh, okay. give myself a little bit more room. I feel like that helps more too. Now, depending on what you have in the cargo room, depends on like how much you can scoot back, but that's it. Now, take the camera. All right, so here I am. Now, the climate control, it's a 3-zone climate control, which means that I can set my temperature independent of what the driver and passengers. So if I'm feeling cold, I can just raise this up myself and adjust my own temp. There is no fan speed separate here, so you're limited by fan speed, but at least you can change the temp and the airflow. There's only 2 vents back here, nothing up top, nothing on the side, just these 2 vents. There are 2 USB-A ports right there, and then a 12-volt outlet right there. All right, coming inside here, I have 2 cup holders. Like I said, anything larger, we're gonna have some trouble. This is really small. I don't know. This is a kid-sized cup holder, if I'm being completely honest. But there is an armrest. I do have an armrest in here, so I have that option. One thing you're gonna see different with the Audi when you're in the front seat is you got your memory seats here. You can set them up. Your light settings here, so you have your auto. These are fully automatic headlights, which means it's raining outside. It's going to switch on the headlights for you automatically. You don't have fog lights, but this is a rain, bad weather light, which means it just puts more light on the ground. Separate light that's integrated in the headlight that will actually direct light into the ground. You got a rear fog light, which is nice. You don't see that many, that most cars are coming with it. Most people don't know what the rear fog light is. I did a video explaining that. I'll put a card up here so you can see what that means, or if you have any questions. You can toggle and turn off the heads-up display. So if I want to turn this off, I can pop it on, pop it off. The heads-up display does everything pretty much you expect: speed limit. If you're using navigation, it'll tell you the lane guidance, and they'll tell you everything to go from there. Only thing I won't tell you that I noticed with the X3 is it doesn't tell you like music selection and things like that. Go to the passenger side. There isn't any memory seats on the passenger. I would like to see that. I think more cars should put more memory on the passenger seat, but that's okay. Below there are aluminum pedals for your gas brake pedal and your dead pedal. So there's aluminum pedals again, that gives that sportier touch. And then on the steering wheel, you get the S logo. Like I said, in the sports steering wheel, there is a cruise control stock. Remember I just talked about that, is adaptive. You can go adaptive or traditional cruise with these. And then you have a button there to toggle your lane keep assist if you want. If you want to toggle that off and on, you can see that pop up in the display. Rain sensing wipers, standard. And then your shifter is the way you toggle it is you'll drive, reverse. Now for reverse, I don't have to press a button in. I can just click all the way down to drive. But to go to reverse, I have to press a button. And then when I'm done, I just press park, and it clicks in the park. The emergency brake is set automatically depending on the situation. So if I'm already like stopped on the hill, sometimes I'll feel the emergency brake is applied. Sometimes it doesn't. It's 50-50 sometimes. I feel like it doesn't do. I don't know what causes it, but I do like how sometimes it's automatically applied when you're parked on the hill. Camera setup, you got a 360 camera. I wasn't expecting less with a car like this. You have, let's see, let's bring the camera again. So you got the front, and then you have also different settings. You got your rear. You can see the tires, the edges, front wheels. So you can see what the front wheels are doing. It's almost like some off-roading programs you can do. Front tires. So yeah, it tells you what to do. This is rear, wide. This is with the guidance. This is your traditional rear view camera, but they give you get a front camera and then a front seat of the front sides, and a 360 like stays on there. This if you want to use the parking assistance. If you or this right now, I'm in a parking spot, so it wants to know basically how to leave the parking, and I could choose, and it'll start automatically, which we'll cover that in another section. I don't know if I'm doing another video of that or another section. Let's see what that does. So I just change some settings, which we won't go that much in depth. We'll say that for a full review if I haven't already filmed that. Both the driver and the passenger side rearview mirror dims in conjunction with this mirror. So you have auto dimming rearview mirrors on both driver and passenger. When we get to BMW, you'll see it's only on the driver's side. All right. So look at the car seat here. This is same, obviously the same position. If you come up here, you can see how close I am to the front seat. But let's sit in the front seat of the SQ5. And this is where I notice something. I don't feel like I'm super close on the dashboard like I do in the X3, which is surprising because the X3 has more room. But being a passenger in here, I feel like I'm comfortable. It doesn't feel like I'm taking a lot of space. I think the fact that I can slide those rear seats back helps out quite a bit. But I am plenty of room up here. I'm sure my legs aren't even touching the floorboard and I'm stretched out, so I can actually do more. So I don't know how they did that, how Audi pulled that off, but for a Q5, which I thought, it's gonna be tight, it's gonna be worse than the X3, it wasn't. Got the aluminum pedals down here, just like the Audi. This one does have the M logo extra. And the steering wheel, I can tell you right now, between the two cars, the steering wheel is on the BMW is fatter. It's a fatter steering wheel. It tells me that I don't know why. I just like how it feels. It feels better in driving the car. And I know some people it's a subjective thing, but I prefer something that feels like this. Now it's got the M tricolor stitching on the steering wheel, and then also because it is a heated wheel as well, they got the heated button there. And then since it does have the driver assistance package, you do have all your settings down here. Okay. Hold it over for me. So sitting here, I feel like the Audi is a little bit better bolster. I need you to see me. Can you see me from here?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like the Audi is more bolstered than this. Not to say that this is bad or uncomfortable, just if I were to compare the two cars and depending on where you go from there. This one, now BMW lets you option. I think Audi had two choices, but this one you have a lot of different options as far as the door. We went with the carbon inlays, the carbon trim on this one. I did see everything from like wood and metal and all kinds of stuff here. And then of course you get the leather here. Now the seats in this car it is the leather, it's upgraded. They call it the Vernasca leather. This is the black Vernasca leather. Have a little tray here. Paddle shifters right there, and then we got the little memory seats right there. There is also, this one doesn't have the memory seat option on the passenger side, so that's another one that does. I think you have to go to like an X5 or X7 to get there. Like the little X trim right there, and then there's the what they call galvanized window controls, which is another option right there. Now, when you go to Audi, when you go to the high trim, you're automatically getting the Prestige. You're getting the higher sound system, which is the Bang & Olufsen. The BMW, fortunately, they still charge you for it, and you still have the option, check that box if you want the high-end sound system, which is Harman Kardon. This is where it differs, where BMW seems to start to be the nickel and dime you more, where it's a little bit easier to kind of find everything you need in Audi. You got the wireless phone charger here. You got your shifter. Now this one, all the controls, I can either do this touchscreen or with the pad here. So I do like having the option to do the pad. I feel like the resolution is a little bit better on this screen, but you have obviously different options and you can do some different things. I did a full in-depth review on this settings here, but I feel like there's more to do with the BMW infotainment than it is on the Audi.
At Al Jazeera Podcast.
Okay, there we go. Cut you off for a second. All right, now the BMW and the Audi setup, this is where things get more complicated because you're constantly seeing the little map here. You're constantly seeing the map, and they have it faded in. And like I said, this is not a tachometer. This is a power gauge. You can set that up, but this is by percentage. So I can rev it up, and nothing's really happening. But I switch over to the sport mode, and then this is where you can see more of the tachometer. Obviously, when you do the sport mode, you get the gauges change more. You see the little tricolor there. I feel like the exhaust valve opened up more because I can now hear the exhaust valve. I heard a switch back here in the back, and I hear a little more burbles. Yeah, there's little subtle burbles at the exhaust. This one does have the optional ventilated seats. Again, it's an optional feature you have to find. I know if you're looking for these used, it's really hard to find. But the difference is it doesn't change your seat setup. This is what you're gonna get, regardless if you have ventilated or not. Now the menu, this AC buttons, there isn't anything that can directly control other than these two buttons here. And then you can control obviously your AC, your temperature. But unfortunately, in order to go to rear, to go to menu AC here, to go to screen, you have to, then you can synchronize it, or you can go to, let's see, menu AC. Now this is where I start to lose. Let's see. There's a way in here where I can set up the rear also independent. But you can choose the aggressiveness of the fan speed, which in Audi you cannot. So I can have the temperature the same, or if I want the fan, if I'm just a person who just loves airflow just blowing to me regardless of how cold or hot it is, this is how you'll do it. And regardless of how you have it set up, they'll be more aggressive. For me, personally, I don't like a lot of fan noise, so I like to keep everything on low fan if possible. These are just shortcuts here. These aren't like radio presets, but just shortcuts. This keeps it. I could have this shortcut be like, all right, I want this to be driver profiles. I want this to take me a shortcut to a certain menu, and to, like, for example, I want this to be an AC menu shortcut. I could find that, but there we go. Heating, ventilation, second row seats, and then there I can set my temperature. So not quite as easy, but you can still do it. And I can set the rear temperature independent of what I want in the front. Rain sensing wipers, same thing here. Lane keep assist, all that's done through here on this button, and then you can choose. Basically, you can configure how you want things to be done. Just from a quick press of the button, or you can have everything on, which you get a full green halo, which means they're all on. When you go through the different drive modes, if I go to comfort, and, eco, this does have an eco mode, which I think is great. Audi doesn't have an eco mode, so it's what you see, what you get. And then you have the glove box, damped felt as well, up top. Now the difference is that Audi had a separate shade button. This one does not. So you have to open the shade first, then open your sunroof. So almost like do two switches back. One does a shade, and then the second switch, same switch, but the second press does the sunroof. But you'll find that the sunroof is a lot shorter in this car. That's how much you get. The Audi, I felt like it was a lot larger, and even if I try to go back to another detent, that's pretty much all you get. And yeah, same thing when you get up there. So I just do it twice, and I'll close the shade. And of course, you do have the tilt function as well. All right. So here I am in that X3 back seat. You can see I got a lot more room. These seats actually don't slide, so this is the furthest it's going to be. But I feel like I'm sitting a little bit taller in here. I feel like I'm slightly more comfortable in the rear seat, just a personal preference. But I think I have the option to recline a little bit, not as much as Audi. Actually, I do. I can recline. So, can recline. Actually, this might be a little more comfortable. Now, this one, optional feature, which only comes on the Audi's warm weather package, because Audi's bundles everything in packages. BMW sort of does everything individually. You can get the sunshades. This has optional sunshades. On the SQ5, you can get it, but it comes bundled with the warm weather package, which gives you the ventilated seats, and then you get that package. Okay. Now, when I come back here, you'll see I have my rear climate control. Got 2 USB-C ports, and I can also adjust my temperature. Now, no fans, actually, is there a fan speed? No, there's no fan speed option in here, but I can choose where I want the airflow to be directed, either the front vents or the floor vents. Heated rear seats is an option. In here is a separate option, not a bundled package, so think about that when you're looking for these, if that's something that's important to you. Actually, it's not really a cubby in here, but that's a tray, because we need that. And then in here, see what the cup holders look like. Cup holders are larger. And then BMW gives you option to hold a larger water bottle in here. And the same thing with the front seats as well. You get a larger, something to hold the water bottle. And then, like I said, you get the same treatment. It's carbon fiber inlay, leather. So there's something to think about. Now here's something else we're gonna show. It's a car seat. Got a rear facing car seat. And right now the car seat is pretty much almost touching the front passenger seat. Let's take a look and see how much space we got in the front. All right, I feel more crammed. I feel somewhat crammed in here. It just feels like when I'm sitting up here, I feel like I need to put my seat back some. I don't know if I can just sit the seat up more and slide it back, but I feel like I'm just sitting really close to this dashboard. Not quite the most comfortable feeling, because I feel like I'm not even, pretty much can't stretch my arm out, and here I am. Also, I don't know if you can tell, there's ambient lighting in here. Goes around here, goes across. I might do a night shot. I think it's probably the easiest way to demonstrate the ambient lighting between the two cars. Yeah, let's do that. Also, the blind spot monitor is going to be on the glass. On the BMW, on the Audi, it's going to be on the mirror housing itself. And rain sensing wipers, just like the Audi, I think they're pretty much similar. They do similar stuff. It's just a little different how it's executed. You have hill descent control. You have auto brake hold, which you don't have in the Audi. And then of course you have your cameras, which you can do full size. You should have a 360 camera. Let's see. So 360 camera. Now 360 camera, you get the option to choose what side. You get to augment reality to see obviously where things are. And I don't know, it's different. And then of course you have this right here that tells you your door. So if you're opening your door as wide as you can, it's showing you basically if it's going to contact. You'll know right away if you're going to hit a contact point. Now, what I like about this, BMW has automatic parking, but it has a backup assistant too. So what that means is if I pull into the garage, for example, and my wife, she does like this if I do this, but I pull in and I get close to the wall because I like to get more door space. But when she backs out, she feels it's more complicated. She could hit this, and this BMW would trace exactly how I drove in, and can essentially get you out. So if you're driving somewhere and you feel like it's complicated to get you out, just hit the backup assistant, and it retraces this path backwards. You still control the brakes, you still control the accelerator pedal, but it'll do the steering for you, and it'll steer itself back out exactly how you drove in. That's a neat feature. The auto park is also a neat feature too. Right now I put this in auto to camera, and let's say automatic parking, it does. Now this is only if you're like this feature or not. It will park itself fully just by engaging the auto park, and it will maneuver itself in between cars. You don't control anything. It controls the gas, brake, steering, and then it puts the transmission in park when the maneuver is completed. X3 will park itself. However, you're still in control of the accelerator and the gas pedal. It's recording? All right. So, all right, let's see. Wheels. So coming on the wheels, these wheels are 21 inches. Both of these are pretty sure upgraded wheel for both these cars. The Audi, you get a 20 inch for the SQ5 or 21. These are the upgraded 21 inch wheels. And these are the several different wheels. I recommend going to the website and then saying basically your choice of wheel and kind of build it to configure it, at least configure it to kind of see which ones you like. This is a 275, 35, 21. This is a staggered setup, which means the front is a 245, 40, 21. So the rears are wider on the X3, which kind of gives it a little more aggressive stance when you look at it from the rear. The Audi is a squared setup, meaning that they're the same size tire front and rear. The benefit of the Audi is I can rotate the tires. I could put, I probably get a longer tire life. With the BMW, I cannot. I can only rotate them side to side, but I can't rotate them. Actually, I don't know if I can rotate them side to side, depending on if they're directional or not. I double check that. I don't see direction. So they could be directional, if not, but anyway, but you cannot put the front tires to the rear and vice versa. These you can. They both come with the red brake calipers. Audi's, of course, is optional. BMW with the M Sport, they come blue. You can choose, you want blue, I think red or black. I'm not sure, black's an option, but I think it's between blue and red. Audi is either black or red. Black comes with the standard. If you check the box for the S Sport package, you're going to get the red brakes. That's one way you can tell if you're shopping for one of these on the used market. If it has the red brakes, it's probably your first indicator it's got the S Sport package. All right, coming up front, you can see the BMW has the the BMW has the 4-piston front brake caliper, but the Audi has a larger front brake. It's got a 6-piston front, which is surprising because I didn't think, the horsepower differences, which we're going to get to that here in a second. Pause it. Okay, so your differences, they're similar, but this is where things start to really start to kind of separate the men from the boys. You're laughing behind the camera, aren't you? So, I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm just saying that when it comes to performance, the Audi is strong. But when you drive both of these back to back, you're gonna feel more connected to the BMW. You're gonna feel the BMW is really trying to put its sport and performance first. So horsepower, I'm putting on the screen, 349 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, which is not obviously fast as class. It's not slow for its class. It's just it sits right. It's a good acceleration that I don't think most people aren't complaining about. When I'm behind the wheel, even knowing that the X3 has more power, I don't have any complaints. It's enough power for me. It's enough power for my day-to-day use. The engine makes a nice sound out of it. It gives you an engaging feeling, which I feel like that alone enhances your driving experience. If it was too quiet and then it wasn't as powerful, then I'm going to feel, but just having the engine sound and engagement, I think that helps quite a bit. The exhaust, when it upshifts, it sort of has sort of a DSG, even though it's not a DSG, it has a DSG-like fart at the back. The BMW sort of has the burbles and the pops when it upshifts, which I think most of it is simulated through the speakers. But regardless of how it's done, when you're behind the wheel, I like how it feels, like the sound. And the Audi seems like the gears are as long, and the BMW seems like it just wants to run through the gears quickly. They're both 8-speed automatic transmissions. This is a Tiptronic, I think that's the ZF transmission. BMW has launch control. This does not have launch control. I think launch control is only on the 2.0 turbos. Now this is a turbocharged engine. This is a 3-liter turbocharged engine. But when you come over here, this is a straight 6. This is the B58 engine. Everybody talks about the B58. B58 is 382 horsepower, I believe, which is quite a bit more than the Audi SQ5. Also, this is a mild hybrid. And with the mild hybrid now, you have an advantage of, first, to be able to achieve fuel mileage, what I put down on the screen too. I get it's a lot easier for me to achieve good fuel mileage with this than I can with the Audi. Driving both the back and trying to drive on the highway. Having the electrical assist does a pretty good job. And then also the start-stop functionality. With the Audi, I want to turn it off. With the BMW, it doesn't bother me that it's on because it feels like it's designed for it, which it is. When you're at a stoplight, you can't really tell you can barely tell the car is off, and it's discernible if the car even fires back up again. When you're in sport mode, it's the only time where it determines it will not shut off the engine. But we'll drive both, and obviously we'll give you my driving impressions. But by this being a mild hybrid too, it does a pretty good job with efficiency. All right, so I'm gonna show the turn signals. You can see that they turn the lights right now. So, right turn signal, you can see how it flashes. And then the DRL comes back on, left turn signal. Flash, high beam, headlight on, turn signal. And if I honk the horn. All right, come into the back. Okay, bright lights. Now, differences on the BMW, the tail lights are also, they turn lights as well. So whenever you're at daytime, the tail lights always stay illuminated, as you can see. Here's a bright lights. There's a turn signal. So turn signal flashing, and then you got your reverse lights here as well. You have to do right turn signal if you want to see that. Okay. So turn signal, a little bit slower blink, but I think that's allowing the sequence of the dynamic turn signal and left turn signal. High beams, flash, headlights, turn signal. So you got the turn signal there. Then I have the lights on, which they'll do this trick right there. Now the difference is, if I come back here and then I open the hatch, you'll see the turn signals disappear, and then what happens is the lower function is actually the turn signal, the lower lights. So if you look in the lower bumper, you'll see if I close the hatch back, and it switches back up to the main lights. So since the lights disappear, I think it's part of the regulation. Obviously, if you look at the BMW, it's split. Lights are mounted to the body as opposed to a hatch mount on the tail light. horn sound is very similar. The Audi drive modes goes as follows: you got your auto, you got comfort, and when I go to all road, it raises the suspension up a little bit. Now you look at the taillights on the Audi, and there's an animation, which I don't know if you can see it during daytime, might do a night shot, but once the car turns off, they'll do an animation. This is only in a Prestige package. Prestige, you have the OLED taillights. See how they're kind of squared off, and it's different how they look. These taillights almost like little cues. And so there they go, they disappear. Now that's only on a Prestige trim. Obviously, I don't think it's worth getting a Prestige just for this, because this only happens like once every, I doubt it'd be noticed by most people, but that's just something that they kind of set the Prestige apart from the Premium Plus and the Premium. On the Audi, on the Prestige trims, you get headlight washers. On the other trims, I think you don't get anything, but on the Prestige, you actually get a headlight washer. So if you're driving a lot of snowy weather, live in a snowy climate, that gets bad, and you're driving a lot of snow, it's worth it to headlight washers. I should also add that the Shadowline package on the BMW also gives you the Shadowline headlights. So the headlight housing is blacked out instead of having, the whole kind of silver bezel in the rear is darker. Here we are in the X3, showing the ambient lighting. Get in there. So right now I had it set for blue.